Good evening, I'm Jack Lemmon. The Irving G. Thalberg Award is the most unique honor that the Academy can bestow. Now, it is the only major award that is not an Oscar, as you can see. It is a bust of a young genius who died at the age of 37 and left behind a remarkable legacy of movies that he had produced or otherwise nurtured. And it is also the heaviest award that we give. Thalberg died in 1936, and within a year, the Board of Governors voted to keep his name and his ideals alive by creating a special award that would be given from time to time to an individual, normally a producer, whose body of work showed the same passionate commitment to quality that had marked Thalberg's career. In 1937, they gave the first Irving Thalberg Award to Darryl Zanuck, and in the 50 years since, they have seen fit to award it to just 24 other individuals, so mere mortals need not apply. The roster of past Thalberg Award recipients includes David O. Selznick, Walt Disney, Hal Wallace, Sam Goldwyn, George Stevens, Sam Spiegel. The list runs on to include William Wyler, Robert Wise, Alfred Hitchcock, Ingmar Bergman, and last year's recipient, Steven Spielberg. Now, the man that we are honoring tonight may be a little sardonic about this whole thing, but oh, he will fit right in with the crowd that he is joining. He is a man who has chalked up an even dozen nominations for screenwriting, another 8 for directing, and he may have to get a new mantelpiece to hold this little sucker because the one he's got now already has 6 Oscars on it. He has produced some of the most memorable and remarkable pictures that this industry has ever made. A master of the art of the movies, unfailingly true to himself and his audience, ladies and gentlemen, Billy Wilder.
Thank you very much. I understand that this is the most prestigious award you can get, with the possible exception of the Nobel Prize, of course. I would like you to take this because I have a feeling this is going to break. I would especially like to thank, after having thanked the governors of the Academy and the members, and all the millions of fans I have all over the world, in the civilized parts of the world. I would very much like to thank one specific gentleman, without whose help I would not be standing here tonight. I have forgotten his name, but I have never forgotten his compassion. He was the American consul in Mexicali, Mexico. Now imagine it's 1934, it's a year after the Hitler Putsch. We are all in exile, Zurich, London, Paris. Then I get lucky, I sell a story to Hollywood, and I get a visitor's visa for 6 months. Then I come here and start working, but 6 months go by very, very fast. Well, I don't want to leave. I would like to stay in America. So I'm being told that I need an immigration visa, for which reason you have to leave the country, get the immigration visa, and then come back in order to re-enter with the proper papers. So I go to Mexicali, which is the closest American consulate right across the border from California. And as they showed me into the office of the consul, I was drenched in sweat. It was not the heat. It was just the panic, the fear. I knew that I needed a whole bunch of documents, affidavits, official proof of former residence, sworn testaments that I had never been a criminal or an anarchist. I had nothing, zilch. Just my passport and my birth certificate and some letters from a few American friends vouching that I was harmless. It looked hopeless. The consul, he looked a little bit like Will Rogers, examined my meager documentation. Is that all you have? He asked. And I said, yes. I have to explain that, I had to get out of Berlin on very short notice, like 20 minutes. A neighbor had tipped me off that two men in uniform had been looking for me. I had just enough time to throw in a few things in the suitcase and get on a night train to Paris. The consul just stared at me and said, I mean, how do you expect me to with just those papers? And I told him, I tried to get them from Nazi Germany, but they just would not respond. Of course, I could get them if I went back to Germany, then they would put me naturally on the train and ship me off to Dachau. So he just kept staring at me, and I was not sure what I was getting through to him. I have heard of whole families who have spent years there waiting for the visa, and other guys who never got in. And believe me, I wanted to get back to America. It looked bad. So we just sat there and stared at each other, the consul and I, in total silence. Finally, he asked me, what do you do? I mean, professionally. And I said, I write movies. And he said, that's so? He got up and started pacing kind of behind me, but I felt that he was measuring me. Then he came back to the desk, picked up my passport, opened it, and took a rubber stamp and handed me back the passport, and he said, write some good ones. That was 54 years ago. I've tried ever since. I certainly did not want to disappoint that dear man in Mexicali. And, as I look back, I've lived a charmed life. I never expected something like this, like the Thalberg Award. You are, without any doubt, the most generous people in the world. And I hope you're watching IAL, because part of this is yours. So get well, will you? Thank you very, very much.